So Morgan Stanley just dropped a bomb on the AI industry, and this is coming up in big news. They're warning about circular relationships where AI companies are basically selling to each other in a massive game of musical chairs. So what happens when the music stops? Are we going to watch an $800 billion house of cards? After tracking tech for a long time, I've never seen numbers this connected from reality. Bain Capital says there's going to be an $800 billion gap between what companies are spending on AI and what they're making from it. So today I'm going to break down why Morgan Stanley is sounding the alarm and why the fallout could make the .com crash look like a picnic. Let's dive into this today. Welcome to Startup Hack. I'm Spencer, and here at Startup Hack, we love to build custom software solutions for companies. With a decade of executive leadership as a fractional CTO and 25 years in software development, I've mastered transforming tech teams and products. So look, we're definitely in a bubble. The question is the question isn't if we're in a bubble, it's when and how bad. What's going to trigger the collapse? If it pops, what are we left with? And if it doesn't pop soon, how much worse does this get? Now, take a quick minute really quick and drop a comment down below and tell me your thoughts about where you think we're at and whether you think this is a bubble or not, or what your thoughts are. Your comments are seriously some of my favorite parts about making these videos, so drop a comment down below. Now, let's jump over into some of these articles here because I want to go through some of these today. So this is an analyst from Morgan Stanley. He says a lot more disclosure is needed on these circular AI deals. The circularity issue keeps swirling. Now, he's talking about that there's a lot going on, right? So published last Wednesday, it focused on a growing concern for many of the markets. The hundreds of billions of dollars worth of AI-related deals swirling between Microsoft, NVIDIA, Oracle, CoreWeave, and of course, our favorite OpenAI. Now, when we look at this here, you can see that this is just a small part, because this isn't talking about the new Broadcom deal. It's not talking about so many of the other pieces to it, right? This isn't talking about Stargate funding a lot of this stuff, right? So there's so much of it. This is just these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 companies here. So this is crazy, right? When we see how intertwined all of this is, this gets ridiculous, right? Because OpenAI is buying from Oracle, who's then buying from NVIDIA, who's then like, you can just see how crazy this is getting. And now we even have two pretty staunch competitors between AMD and NVIDIA in there. Now you want to throw Intel and a bunch of others in the mix, and this gets absolutely wonky really quick. Now, I'm going to break down this meeting here because it's a long meeting, but I've got some notes here for you that I want to go through with you. This other article here says the AI bubble is far worse than we thought. 2008, who? I mean, the last time we saw a really good meltdown. So everyone who's in the category, but none of it was actually usable enough for him to use. I was like, are you going to post those? He's like, no, I just think they're funny. And so this is my 17-year-old, right? Real story, happened tonight. And so this is unfortunately what all of those gigawatts and gigawatts of power are going to do, is to make a bunch of AI slop videos that no one's really going to do anything other than chuckle over. Now, Morgan Stanley's Todd Castagno just exposed how AI companies are essentially passing the same dollars around in circles. Company A buys from company B, who buys from company C, who buys back to company A, and so it's a revenue hot potato. When one company can't deliver on their contracts, the whole chain will collapse like dominoes. So we've seen this movie before with some private mortgages and also with the .com bubble, right? Everyone's making money until suddenly one link in the chain breaks and suddenly the music stops. So the scary part is nobody knows how deep these circles dependencies actually go. Castagno says that we need, quote, a lot more disclosure, but companies are keeping these relationships intentionally opaque. Now, Bain Capital just calculated that AI infrastructure spending will hit $1 trillion while revenue stays at $200 billion. That's an $800 billion hole. The other problem to this is the bigger than the whole GDP of Switzerland, but the biggest problem to this is a 1 to 5 ratio to spendings. There's no way we can maintain that, right? Companies are building data centers like it's 1999, expecting demand that might never materialize. We're essentially building 10 airports for every plane that exists. The compute costs alone are crushing startups before they can even find product market fit. When this gap becomes undeniable, the correction will be violent. Now, NVIDIA stocks tripled on AI hype, but here's what nobody's saying. Their biggest customers are also their biggest risks. When Microsoft, Google, and Amazon cut AI spendings, NVIDIA's revenue evaporates overnight. So we're seeing early signs of this already. Cloud providers are starting to question their GPU purchases. The entire AI economy is built on one company's chips. That's not a market, it's a dependency. Smart money is already rotating out while retail investors are still buying at the peak. So history shows us that selling shovels in a gold rush works until everyone realizes there's no gold in the stream. Now, OpenAI is reportedly burning $5 billion annually while generating around $2 billion in revenue. Anthropic, Cohere, and others are in the same boat. Massive burrs with unclear paths to full profitability. These companies are surviving on venture capital life support, not actually business fundamentals. The moment funding dries up, we'll see a cascade of features. I've watched this pattern destroy companies for decades without growth. Growth without profit always ends up badly. So the real tell is that these companies keep raising at higher valuations despite worsening economics. Now, surveys show that 80% of enterprises are experimenting with AI, but less than 10% have production deployments. Companies are spending millions on proofs of concepts that never graduate to real use. CIOs are under pressure to show AI initiatives, but can't demonstrate actual ROI or can't do it safely. So the dirty secret is that most AI projects are failing to deliver promised productivity gains. After every tech cycle, enterprises pull back hard when results don't match promises. We're about 6 months from the great AI budget massacre of 2025. Now, I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Again, leave a comment. And also, if you guys need systems connected, reach out because Startup Hack, our specialty is connecting systems so your company can work to maximum efficiency. Check out startuphack.com/Spencer. Now, AI engineers are commanding over $500,000 salaries for skills that they learned 6 months ago. Companies are hiring, quote, prompt engineers at senior developer rates, and that's not sustainable. When the music stops, these inflated salaries will cater faster than crypto developer rates did. Real AI expertise is rare, but everyone claiming to be an expert after a weekend course. The talent cost alone is making AI initiatives unprofitable for most companies. So I've seen this before. When salaries disconnect from value creation, the correlation gets really brutal. Now, China's developing their own AI stack, making Western AI companies total addressable market even much smaller. Geopolitical tensions mean that half the world market is essentially off limits. Chinese companies are building competitive models at a fraction of the cost. We've recently just been playing with a lot of the Quen models that are open source and free, and we download them and use them in our own production systems, and they're pretty impressive. Now, the assumption that American AI companies will dominate globally is already being combated, right? So when you cut the global market in half, valuations should drop by more than half. Export restrictions are creating parallel AI ecosystems, fragmenting the market permanently. Now, Meta's Llama and other open models are destroying a lot of the moat of proprietary AI companies. Why would you pay OpenAI when you can run similar models for free? The commoditization of foundation models is happening faster than anyone predicted. Startups built on proprietary models that are watching their competitive advantages evaporate. So in my years of tech, commoditization always crashes prices and margins. The premium for proprietary models is collapsing from 100x to maybe 2 to 3x. Now, there's a lot of regulatory hammers that are coming down. OpenAI is thumbing their nose at regulators and abusing copyright left and right. Sora is a copyright nightmare, and yet we haven't even begun to see the amount of legal liability that's going to come for this. The legal liability for AI mistakes is about to explode. Smart money knows regulation kills bubbles faster than anything else. So we're hitting diminishing returns on model investments and on their improvements. GPT-4 to GPT-5 wasn't as good as GPT-3 GPT-3 to GPT-4, and GPT-5 to GPT-6 still won't be that much more improvement. The easy gains are gone. Each improvement now costs exponentially more to gain. So users are starting to realize that current AI model is good enough for most tasks. The subscription fatigue is setting in. How many AI tools will people actually pay for? Without dramatic breakthroughs, current revenue models are going to fall apart. Physics and economics are converging to cap AI capabilities below the hype expectations. Now, early AI adopters are starting to churn at alarming rates. The novelty is wearing off, and businesses are asking hard questions about value. I was reading a report recently that was talking about that most AI is churning at 70 to 80%. That is extremely high and higher than almost any other industry I've ever heard of. Retention rate for AI products are significantly worse than traditional SaaS. Without sticky use cases, these companies are just expensive toys. Now, customer acquisition costs are skyrocketing while lifetime value is plummeting. The unit economics simply don't work when churn is this high. Now, Morgan Stanley is calling for transparency, but AI companies are hiding their real numbers. Nobody knows the actual revenue concentration. the burn rates, or dependency chains. When Enron fell, it was the hidden connections that caused the cascade. AI companies are using creative accounting to hide their circular dependencies. The lack of disclosure means that the bubble could be far worse than visible metrics suggest. When trust evaporates, markets crash, and trust requires transparency that we're not seeing. Now, I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think, no, we're not in a bubble? Or do you think we have a bubble and it's fine? I love bubbles. Tell me what your thoughts are. Here at Starter Pack, we love to train software developers as well as build custom software solutions for companies. And here's some great information about our services.
Hi, I'm Spencer, a fractional CTO. With over a decade of executive leadership and 25 years in software development, I've transformed technology teams and products for businesses just like yours. As your fractional CTO, you get the strategic guidance of a seasoned technology executive without the full-time commitment. Perfect for companies ready to leverage cutting-edge technology without expanding headcount. My team at Startup Hack has already built advanced AI agents for small and medium businesses, automating complex workflows and delivering advanced ROI to human workflows. We specialize in creating custom software that connects your systems into a single coherent technology ecosystem. Our development approach focuses on tangible business outcomes. For one client, we developed AI-powered workflows that cut days off of human processes. For another company, by connecting multiple systems, we reduced processing time to increase their ROI by over 75%. We don't just write code, we architect solutions that scale. Whether you need cloud system architecture, data integration between legacy systems, or custom AI agents that automate your unique business processes, my team delivers results that exceed your expectations. Having led technology for a lot of companies and launched 7 successful brands of my own, I bring battle-tested expertise to your business challenges. Our specialty is turning technological complexity into business advantage. So if you're ready to harness the power of AI and custom software to drive your business forward, let's connect. Together, we'll build technology that doesn't just solve today's problems, it positions you for tomorrow's opportunities. Technology leadership, decades of experience, AI powered. Reach out today and we can help you. Check out startupack.com/Spencer.